Today's guest is someone who blends brilliance with boldness and strategy with soul. I'm talking about Janelle Villiers, best-selling author, publishing expert, and the force behind Say That Publishing and Janelle Villiers Partnerships. Janelle wrote one of the most daring and vulnerable book titles you'll ever hear, and it opened up not only her own healing journey, but a pathway for others to find their voice and share their truth. Since then, she's helped countless coaches, creatives, and entrepreneurs turn their life lessons into powerful books that generate both income and impact. In this episode, we dive deep into shame, storytelling, and what it takes to move from fear to freedom. Whether you've dreamed of writing a book or just want to feel more confident owning your story, this conversation will stir something in you. Let's get into it. Hello, Janelle. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on. I am truly thrilled to be on your platform. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, it's my pleasure. I cannot wait for this. We've been talking for a few weeks now, but we hit it off from the very beginning, and you've got such an interesting story and helped so many people. So I'm honored to have you on, and it's going to be a fun conversation.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so starting off hot here. We're going to dive into why is it that I'm asking these questions in this order, but let's just jump into the deep end if we can. What is one story that you almost didn't publish because of fear?
So it's actually the book, my first
Okay.
book that I
Okay.
wrote. I almost didn't write it out of fear.
Okay.
So my book is here for those of you who are watching on YouTube, I guess, or LinkedIn. I slept with a married man. Am I still a good person? And the first question that people usually ask is this about you? Yes, it is about me. I felt very called by God, not to put my faith on anyone, but I heard him telling me like you need to share your story about how I was really struggling with
Mm,
shame-based thinking. So
okay.
the difference between guilt and shame. Guilt is I'm
Okay.
sorry, I made a mistake. Shame is I'm sorry, I am a mistake.
Ooh, wow. Yeah, that's different.
And so when you feel like I am a mistake, I am unlovable, I am unworthy, I am a failure, I am not good enough,
Hmm.
it's that belief that you have is going to have you do one of three things. One, it'll help you self-sabotage because you don't believe you deserve anything good. Two, you'll flirt with risky behavior. And then when it doesn't work out, you can point to it and say, see, this just proves it. I'm not a good
Mm,
person. And three is you isolate yourself from others as a form of self-punishment because you
mm,
believe if you were to get to know me, you wouldn't want to be around me either.
mm.
So you
Wow.
would abandon me, so I'm going to isolate myself from you. So I was doing all three of those things after
Wow.
I had slept with a married man.
Hmm.
And I found myself spiraling. And I really wanted to share like how does someone there was my flirting with risky behavior and then it didn't
Hmm.
work out, right?
Right,
So
right.
obviously I was having these thoughts and I really recognize that maybe that was my trigger, but somebody else
Hmm.
could be triggered by something else.
Okay.
Maybe they had an abortion,
Right.
maybe they stole money from their family, maybe
Mm.
not even something as like egregious, but maybe you're
Sure.
like that parent where everybody baked home good baked goods, right? For
Right.
whatever
Okay.
event, and then
Right.
you didn't have time, so you like went and bought some store-bought cookies.
Right.
And now
Yeah.
you feel like I'm a bad dad or I'm a bad
Hmm.
mom because I couldn't do what everybody else did, right?
Yeah.
So like we all have different triggers that
Hmm.
trigger this belief that just kind of runs on like
Right.
repeat. And if we don't address it, then it could lead
Mm.
us to do one of those three things. And
Wow.
so what I really wanted to do was have more conversations around this. Um,
Hmm.
there are ways that we can heal from this, that we can gain resiliency and bounce back. But I feel like
Hmm.
if we don't even talk about any of this to begin with, then
Right.
people won't live out their dreams. They'll stay
Hmm.
stuck. They won't live out their calling that
Right.
God has given them purpose to do because they'll just be stuck in the shame-based thinking. And so for
Right.
me, it was really important to get that message out. But let's just be clear. The title is a bit damning.
Hmm.
It's provocative intentionally,
Sure.
but it is also like, oh my God, are people going to judge me? Are people going to
Hmm.
want to talk to me after this? Or
Right.
are people going to want to deal with me professionally? Um,
Right.
I had a lot of fear, a
I
lot of
bet.
fear going into this. And so it took me a year to write it.
Uh-huh.
And in that year, it was a constant, like sometimes I was like, maybe it'll just end here. Like it'll just be
Hmm.
me writing almost like a journal for
Sure.
myself, but it won't ever like go out
Right.
into the world. I had people in my life, family
Hmm.
members, in fact, tell me, do not write this. It's gonna ruin
Yeah.
you. Um,
Mm.
so that whatever internal fears I had was compounded by others. So family members, friends telling me not to do it. Um, and for what it's worth, I do invest in myself in the way of investing in mentorship. And so that was probably one of the biggest saving graces is between mentorship and mentors saying, no, this is going to be a big deal. It's going to help a lot of people. I did
Hmm.
have some group of friends who were telling me, no, this is a big deal. And then, yeah, that small, quiet voice,
Hmm.
God's voice in my ear is very small
Right.
and quiet. I don't know about other people.
Hmm.
If
Right.
you've ever read my book, you actually hear a story about somebody who had a whole fight with God. That's a whole other story. But yeah,
Oh.
so mine was small and quiet, and it just kept saying, your only job is to write this.
Mm.
My job is who actually gets impacted by this and who is touched by this and moved by this. Your only job is to write it.
Right.
And so I just kept following that small voice and with the encouragement of those others that I mentioned. And
Mm.
yeah, it took me a year to write. People ask me that too. They're like, well, how long did it take? It took me a
Right.
year to write the book.
Right. Wow.
And then another 10 months, so let's call it a year, another 10 months to figure out now what? I wrote the thing, now what? How do you get it edited?
Hmm.
How do you self-publish? How do you market the book? It was it was a lot of education. I had a lot of self-education and it took a really long time. And I probably made several mistakes along the way,
Sure.
but it has been worth it for me personally, just in terms of the conversations I've had. I've
Hmm.
now been interviewed on over, I think it's at least 15 different podcasts. I've been interviewed on two different TV shows, a radio station, and I had three different book tour stops, one in New York, Fort Lauderdale, and
Nice.
Chicago. And I had some of the most courageous conversations with people.
Uh,
And so many people who came up to me and said, I've never felt so seen. Thank you
wow.
so much for writing what you
Wow.
did. And I just knew I was like, oh, I wrote this book for you.
Yeah.
You were the
Right.
reason. This is the reason. And
I
I
know.
will back that up by saying what I didn't expect was how many people were going to pull me to the side and be like, "Hey, Janelle, how did you write the book?" Or, "Hey, Janelle, how did you
Oh,
self-publish?"
okay. Right.
And that started
Right.
my entrepreneurial business where now that's what I do. I teach people, I coach people on how to get that book idea that they have in their head and their heart out of their head and their heart onto paper so they can publish with pride. And then I co-founded a publishing company to be able to help people edit and then publish their books as well. And so in the past
Excuse me.
year, oh,
So
it's okay.
sorry.
Bless you. In
Oh,
the,
goodness.
in the past year, we've been able to help 11 authors become best-selling
Wow.
authors. And that has
Wow.
been and counting. We've got more coming.
Right.
It's been truly a blessing to just know that I've been the catalyst to like help people get their message out to the world. I truly believe a book can change a person's life. I know that because
Yeah.
it's done that with me. And there's a game I love to play, but I'll save it for later if
There
you.
we go. We'll get into it. I would love to play the game. I love it. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing. That's wonderful. I mean, if you're not hooked now, then just go on your merry way because that's what an intro. I love it. Good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you so much for sharing that. And
Mhm.
yeah, I think this kind of leads into the rest of our conversation. So we've learned a lot about you already in the first, 10 minutes or so. But back up just a little bit, just, as much as you'd like to share kind of about your upbringing and different things. And I know that you've had lots of pretty interesting and kind of unique experiences and jobs and stuff like that. So what do you feel is worth sharing?
The things that people, I guess, that people most pay attention to. So I am a super nerd. These glasses are like not for show.
Super nerd.
I went to an Ivy League school. I went to the University of Pennsylvania where I majored in bioengineering. See, there goes the nerdy side. I
There you go.
love everything genetics. Genetics is a part of bioengineering, and so ended up getting my master's in human genetics.
Okay.
And with that, went on to then become a genetic counselor.
Wow.
I talk with people about um, their whether they have inherited any increases in having certain genetic conditions that could
Mhm.
impact their health, sometimes even
Sure.
their lifespan.
Right.
Sometimes it's them, sometimes it's about a future pregnancy that they may have.
Right.
Um, and so that's essentially what genetic counselors do. And we talk about
Hmm.
whether you want to get tested, what that testing could
Hmm.
mean for you, what are the
Right.
options. And so I was doing that for about 11 years
Okay.
and then started teaching. Actually, no, before that. So I started teaching probably 7 years in.
Okay.
Really loved teaching. I really love the light bulb moment when
Hmm.
a student who you've been trying to teach something like gets it. And so really started just kind of becoming an adjunct professor in many different places.
Hmm.
But ultimately it led me back to my alma mater where I got my master's at Sarah Lawrence College. And I became the an assistant program director there,
Okay.
in charge of admissions. But the easier way to say that is just I was a professor.
There we go. Well, we'll go with that.
It's a big title. I was a professor, but I was in charge of developing the new generation of genetic
Okay.
counselors,
That's
essentially.
really cool. Really, really cool. Okay. So now we get you to your first career. Everyone has like a pivot or two.
Mhm, mhm.
Where did your pivot happen and what caused it?
So I think a lot of people just assume that you kind of have this ed like this kind of education, this kind of background that you're just
Mhm.
gonna make tons of money. And that's
Yeah.
not what happened for me. I ended up working in labs and
Okay.
laboratory techs don't make a lot of money. And
Okay.
so I was just trying to figure it out. And then that's what led me to
Mhm.
genetic counseling. Genetic counseling made a little bit more money. So I was like,
Mhm.
okay. But I still found myself working three jobs. I was working as
Wow.
a genetic counselor at Mount Sinai Hospital. I was also teaching at two different colleges. I like hardly had a weekend. I was like always doing something, grading something. It was just like just to
Hmm.
like pay the bills. And
Yeah.
I was like, man, everyone told me to, go to school, go to a good school, in fact, which I did, get
Hmm.
good grades and get a
Right.
good job. And it still seemed to not add up. And I was like, well, there's got to be something better than this. And so during that moment, well, I didn't know what else to do, but I was introduced to network marketing. I was
Okay.
introduced to a company that was involved in travel. And so basically, I sold travel memberships. This business, it opened me up to entrepreneurship, business. What does it
Hmm.
mean to make residual income? All of these things that I was never taught, essentially.
Hmm.
And I was very successful in that company. I started making residual income so much so that within 6 months I was able to quit one of those extra teaching
Wow.
jobs. 6 months later, got to a second rank, and I was able to the increase in the residual income. So I was able to quit from the second job.
Hmm.
And then to me, what was the most important is that I was working at a job that I really didn't like. And the job at Sarah Lawrence at my alma mater actually paid me less than the job that I was currently in. But I had the option to
Hmm.
work at a job where I knew I'd just be happier in
Okay. Right. Yeah. Hmm.
because I had this other business that had
Sure.
created this residual income that would allow me to have the option to then
Okay.
work somewhere else. And so I
Yeah.
made
Yeah.
that leap. And so that was kind of like in the background, like the transition that was happening in my life. And then COVID happened
Okay.
and travel stopped. To say
Yes.
the least. The company unfortunately went bankrupt. Um, and so it didn't exist really anymore. And so then it was like, well, what am I going to do now? Where's the pivot? And that's actually when I started to write the book. I started to write the
Okay.
book in 2020 during COVID. And I would say that's the pivot. The rest you guys already know, but
Right.
that was kind of like the seeds that were planted along the way that got me
Hmm.
to where I am now.
Gotcha. Love it. Love it. Love it. Very good. I appreciate the background. That's very, very interesting. And isn't it funny? And we don't have to spend a lot of time on this, but I've got two young boys, and
Mm,
I continue to, and this is again not not as educated as you, but like, someone that has got a master's and was taught the exact same thing. Go to a school, go to a good school, get good grades, and then you'll be set up for success. And I hate to break it to you folks, that's no longer the formula. Like
No.
that does not guarantee anything. And then even if that first one is something that you love, most likely you're going to pivot, change at least 3 to 5 times, if not 10 to
Yeah.
12, right? It's just crazy.
Yeah. And I think I just want to put this out there too. I mean, like if you're someone who's in that, I think there's a generational gap with this as well.
Okay.
I saw this a lot actually with my students because they would talk to their parents about applying for a job and how,
Mhm.
sometimes you wouldn't be at a job for more than a year, more than two, and the parents were all aghast, like,
Yeah, right.
no, you need to be at a job for like
Yeah.
5 years, 10 years. And I'd have to coach all of them essentially and just tell them,
Hmm.
actually, that is the way it worked for your parents'
Right.
generation, but that is not the way that it works now. And it's
Mhm.
okay for you to
Right.
just know that your parents are going to say this because they think that they're protecting you in some
Right.
way because they just don't know anything else and they don't know
Sure.
that actually it's not that way anymore. So just
Mhm.
kind of like smile and nod. I know, like
Right.
might be. And so anyone who's going through that right now, where
Yeah.
it is tough, right? Like
Hmm.
your parents love you, they're just trying to, lead you the right way, but you
Right.
also know that it's not that way anymore. And so yeah, I just want to say
So
like
true.
hang in there, it's fine. Like
Right.
this is the new way. And for anyone who's from that generation where that's what you did, like you did
Right.
work somewhere for 5, 10,
Right.
15, 20 years.
Sure.
That's how you showed experience. That's how you
Right.
showed, I don't want to say loyalty, but almost like this
Yeah.
ability to like stay in there and like do
Hmm.
the work. And
Right.
um I get it. Like I get that that's really what
Right.
worked for you. And it's just not necessarily what's working anymore. So
Right.
that it's difficult for someone to hear that
Right.
recommendation when it's just not really what works anymore.
Sure. Yeah. No, and maybe just frame it in this was my experience, but I understand that the current market does not really that's not a reality, right? There's not very
Yeah.
many people that are staying with the same company for even 10 years, let alone 20 to 40.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy. Cool. All right. Well, little side
Yeah.
soapbox
Yeah.
there, but I wanted to get that out there, so I love it. Let's talk about the publishing. You have helped many people. We heard about the bestsellers, but I think that you've even done some six-figure incomes with books and this kind of stuff. So there's just um that's pretty exciting and pretty cool, probably for somebody that's out there thinking like, I've got this book idea that it's just percolating and I'm not sure about this. But give me what is one is biggest misconceptions rather that people have about writing a profitable book. Like it's one of those things like, hey, I can just get this out there and it's just for my family and friends. But if someone's really wanting to, give a go at this, what would be a misconception that people have about writing a profitable book?
I'm going to say two.
Okay.
The first is actually a larger misconception, which leads
Okay.
people to number two, which
Okay.
is
Gotcha.
I'm going to self-publish my book. I'm going to put it on Amazon, and all of a sudden, people are just going to buy my book. I'm
Okay.
going to be like, I'm like J.K. Rowling now. Watch out, world. Here I come. I just
I
put my book on Amazon.
love it.
And I mean, I know I'm saying it a little facetiously, and I love it, Andy, because you're even like laughing a little bit. But this is really how people think.
Oh,
And
I have no doubt.
I am this is knowing laughter because a part of me felt this way too. Like I'm gonna put that in like who's not, I mean, look at the title. The title's real crazy. Like who's not gonna
Right.
want to read
Right.
this book,
Right.
right? But it's that same question, like if a tree falls in a forest and no one's in the forest, does it make a sound?
Hmm.
We don't know.
Right. Right.
Right? Like, no. People have to know about your book in
Right.
order for them to buy it. And
Yeah.
so there's a whole marketing engine
Yeah. Right.
involved with marketing, getting your book out into the world for that to happen. So I'll just give this kind of wake up call to everyone out there. On average, in the lifetime of a book,
Hmm.
200 sales are made. In the lifetime of a book,
Wow.
200. And if you only make $10 per book, that's $2,000, my friends. You have just made $2,000, yes, on your book.
Wow.
And the average person, I think that's what they think, that they're
Hmm.
gonna just blow up like like J.K. Rowling. Right? And that's not necessarily how it works. So I just want to put that out there, just to
Yep.
really want to work on expectations. That's really
Sure.
what it is, right? So
Right.
I'm not trying to lower your expectations. I'm just trying to give you the reality of
Right.
where things stand.
Yep.
If you want to sell 1 million books, if you want to
Mm-hmm.
sell 100,000 books, there is going to be there's going to have to be a large marketing arm behind
Mm-hmm.
you,
Mm-hmm.
making sure people know that your book exists.
Right.
And so if you are going to do that, that is going to require you investing anywhere from five, 10, sometimes even $20,000 into marketing companies who know what they're doing to help
Mm-hmm.
market your book to make, the 100,000, the $1 million, whatever you're doing. So
Right.
if you want to make money purely on the sale of your book, it is going to require a large investment from you. Unless you get a traditional publisher to pick up your book.
Okay.
And if that's the case, they have a large army of
Mm-hmm.
marketing
Mm-hmm.
that
Okay.
goes into that. Now, to
Sure.
get picked up by a traditional publishing house requires you to get an agent. So you know how like
Mm-hmm.
when you have a house, you get a real
Mm-hmm.
estate agent to
Right.
then
Right.
market your house. You need a book agent to then market your book to the different
Okay.
traditional
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah. I didn't
book
know that was a thing, but it makes
publishers.
sense, right?
You don't know this until
Yeah,
like
right.
you know
Exactly.
it, right? And so you can do that, but that takes a really long time. If and when a traditional publishing house does pick up your book, it doesn't always guarantee that they will actually publish it. But guess what? Now they
Mm.
bought the rights to it, so you
Okay.
can't go self-publish yourself. Now your book
Uh,
is stuck and may not ever see the light of day.
Interesting.
And
Okay.
the royalties from books are much less than people think
Okay.
from a traditional publishing house. Do you want to guess? How much do you think a traditional publishing royalty percentage is?
Oh man, that's tough. Well, you're saying it's low, so I'll say 50%. You just
Wow,
laugh. You're like, oh, you're so
50%,
silly.
that's low to you? That's half.
Oh, okay.
It's 3 to 5%.
The Wait, hold on.
The average royalty from a traditional publishing house for an author is 3 to 5%.
What?
See that? Which
What?
means if you want to see a substantial amount of money, again, you're selling millions of books, which is why they put a lot of money into marketing because
Yeah.
they want to see, right, a big return.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, then there you go.
There you go.
That's
Now, if
insane.
you publish, self-publish, you will have to invest your own money into
Sure.
doing all of this, sure,
Right.
but the royalties are as high as anywhere between 60 to 75%.
Okay.
It's a
Right.
much higher royalty. And so your return on investment could be higher if you
Sure.
make sure that you do all the things that you want to do in terms of uh,
Right. Okay.
marketing. I will
Yeah.
also say this, you can always, and if you don't remember anything else, like if you're a
Mm.
potential author out there, this is one of the biggest things I really want people to know.
Okay.
You
Right.
can always self-publish, and then if a traditional publisher picks you up after you
Mm.
self-publish,
Okay.
awesome. But you
Okay.
cannot go the other way. You can't go
Right. Right.
traditional publishing to self-publishing. So instead of just waiting for a traditional publisher to publish your book, go ahead and self-publish now. Get your name out there now. Get on stages now. Do all that now. And then not only will you increase the likelihood of a traditional publishing house actually taking you on because
Right.
now you have a market to sell to that they
Sure.
can
Sure. Sure.
identify and then pour into.
Right.
Um, but also you can make some money in the meantime as well.
I gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one of my big takeaways in terms
Hmm.
of people who are thinking about it. But anyway, so that is the first misconception that you
Hmm.
put your stuff on Amazon and then you become J.K. Rowling,
Okay.
which leads to the next, which is people think that the only way that they can make money from books is from the sale of the books.
Okay. Gotcha.
And I'm talking to my entrepreneurs out there. I really want you to hear me when I say this. If you're a coach, professional speaker, an entrepreneur in any other sense, like you have an expertise in a particular niche, and if you're going to write a book on that, you're going to make more of your money leveraging your book than
Mm.
you are from the actual sale of your books. So what I mean by that is the book basically makes you an authority in a particular area. whatever area that is that you're really good at knowing about. For me, it's shame-based thinking, for example. And so if you're on a panel, let me give you an example of why this is true. If you're on a panel, and let's use something that neither you nor I are in, personal training, for example,
Okay.
and people are asking questions about fitness, and there's personal trainer A, B, and C, but C is
Hmm.
the only one that has a book.
Mm.
And so there's a question from the audience, and they say, I was really wondering about XYZ health thing. And personal trainer A says, oh, yeah. So in my experience, I have over 20 years of experience, and I believe that this is the right thing to do.
Okay.
Then person B says, just to piggyback on that, I would also say this, that, and the third. Person C goes, in my book, I talk about this, that one of the best things that you can do is XYZ, da, 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 da.
Hmm. See,
Subconsciously,
oh
yep.
no. Oh yeah. Everybody.
Subconsciously,
Boink.
everyone in that audience
Right.
looks at
Hmm.
C as personal trainer C as the authority or the
Hmm.
expert in the room
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
they wrote a book on
Right.
it that they can now go and get if they wanted to go get the information. So you really and truly writing a book just sets you apart from others in your niche to make you the authority in that
Mm.
area.
Yeah.
Now, once you have that, not only can you sell the book, right, at speaking engagements, but you can get paid to speak about said thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
New speakers,
Right.
their fee is anywhere from $500 to $5,000. People
Okay.
who've been doing this for a while can make anywhere from 10,000 to 100,000 per, let's say 50,000. But the real high experts and also famous people probably make over 100,000, but between 10 and 50,000 per speaking engagement, right? If you're a seasoned speaker.
Right. Right.
And so if let's say you're a new speaker and you make $2,000 per speaking engagement. If your goal is to make $100,000 from your book per se,
Mhm.
if you got 2,000, sorry, if you got 2,000, if you got two speaking engagements a
Mhm.
month, right? So that's four
Mhm.
times 12. Did I do the math right? Or is it
48. Yeah, that's about 50. Yep,
That's
exactly.
50. Okay.
Hmm.
So it
Yep.
is four. I have this. So if you
Mhm.
did four speaking engagements a month,
Uh,
then you could get your 100K.
yeah.
If we go back to the original example I gave with the book, if you're only making
Mhm.
$10 per book, just to give
Mhm.
easy math, right?
Mhm.
Because
Right.
even that's about a little bit more than most, but let's say $10 per book,
Right.
you have to sell 10,000 books
Yeah.
to make
Right.
$100,000 versus just doing four speaking engagements a month. That seems like a much easier gig.
Yeah. No, I agree. Interesting.
Also, your expertise can turn into coaching. So you
Hmm.
maybe you teach people, you hold seminars, you do workshops, you hold master classes. If you can collapse the time frame for people, people will pay you so that way they can
Hmm.
learn the information faster. They don't have to go to some fancy school to learn the same information that you already have access to. So again, uh, people who are just starting off as coaches per client, they're making anywhere between I would say anywhere between 2,000 to $7,000 per client, like new if you're
Hmm.
just getting started.
Right.
And if you're someone more experienced, you're making anywhere between 10 again to $50,000 per client, depending on the niche and your experience. And so my new people who are starting off brand new, same thing, right? If you got
Mhm.
if you're charging at the lower end $2,000, then we're back
Right.
at the four per month. You need four clients per month,
Sure.
totally doable. And even if it's 5,000 per client, then you're looking at one to two a month
Right.
and you're
Right.
fine. So honestly, I think like the people who are in this like entrepreneurship in this world, they know that that's where like the real sauce is like,
Hmm.
how can I leverage my book to say, hey, you want to find out more
Hmm.
information? You want to get coached directly by me? I need you to get involved with my course. You want to get more access to me and the things I have, like you need to do this. And then for anyone who can't do that, then they have access to you through the book, right? The
Right.
book can be where you are when you aren't there. So
Hmm.
it's kind of like that. And so I love being able to see people do that. And we've
Hmm.
seen people do that over and over again, how people are able to leverage their book to be able to move into those other places, to have doors open to you that
Yeah.
you didn't have open before, right? Like
Mm.
now you're an author. And if you can even be a best-selling author on Amazon, you're still a bestseller, right? And so
Right.
now you're a best-selling author coming onto a podcast or giving a talk or
Sure.
et cetera. People love that. So
Right.
so yeah, definitely
Yeah.
leverage the book. You don't have to
Mhm.
make the sales from the book to make the
Right.
impact you're looking
Right.
for.
I love it. I love it. Good stuff. Speaking of masterclass, feels like we're getting a masterclass from Janelle. All you entrepreneurs out there that are toying with the idea of publishing a book or writing a book. So, you mentioned a game earlier. I don't know if we have
Mhm.
time for a game right now. I have a couple more questions. We have our three questions that we end on, but I don't want to leave folks hanging on that because I'm sure that they're like, well, what? We never got back to that. So I'll let you give me another opportunity for that.
Sure, it's really quick. You and I can play it together. But if you're at home, I want you to think of a book that has significantly impacted your life, maybe even changed it, changed your
Okay.
perspective, something like that. Think
Okay.
of one, and then if you're listening, please either put a comment with the name of the book. If you don't know the author, it's okay. Just put the title. If you know the author, please also include the author. Put that
Mhm.
in the comments so Andy
Okay.
can start making a running list.
Right.
Andy will share the list with me because I'm always looking for more books to
Hmm.
read. But I want you to think about it. Everybody think about that book. You may even think of two. It doesn't matter what genre, it can be in any genre, fiction included. A lot of times people think, oh, it can't be fiction. 100% it could be fiction.
Okay.
Fiction books can change your life. Okay, I think I've given people enough time to think about it. Now that you've got that book, Andy, do you have a book in mind?
I do. Yep.
Tell me, what's the book?
It is The Bug in Your Brain.
The Bug in Your Brain. Do you know the author? Just curious.
Yes, Robert Christensen. He was a former personal coach of mine. He's brilliant.
Ah, The Bug in Your Brain,
Hmm.
Robert Christensen. Love
Yep.
it. And so everybody now think of the author, think of the book that's in your mind. Now imagine if they were too scared, if the doubts that all they had that this what they had to share wasn't good enough, who's going to read it? No one's going to.
Mhm.
Imagine if that kept them from writing the book and
Right.
they never wrote it.
Wow.
What if they never wrote that book? Think
That.
about that.
Yeah.
Your life wouldn't be changed. My life wouldn't be changed. Sorry, I should share too. I don't want to make it seem like
Yeah.
this is.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Go for it.
So Secrets of a Millionaire Mind
Okay.
is my like personal development book that changed a lot for me. And then
Hmm.
also in terms of fiction, and I want to make sure that people are clear on this, there's a fiction book that changed my life forever, which is called The Mists of Avalon. And it's by Miriam Zimmer Bradley, and it's about the story of Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, but
Hmm.
told from the viewpoint of all the women
Wow.
in the
Okay.
story. Changed my life.
Nice.
Anyway,
Yeah. That's really cool.
so now if we think about what if those people never wrote those books, your life wouldn't be changed, Andy. My
Hmm.
life wouldn't be changed.
Right.
Listener,
Right.
your life wouldn't be changed either. And so
Hmm.
this is why I know that what you have inside of you, if you've been thinking about writing a book, but you have any doubt or fear, that just means you're holding yourself back from touching somebody, from impacting somebody's life.
Yep.
And I know that I can say that with so much confidence because I know if those authors who touched your lives hadn't written their book, then your
Mhm.
life wouldn't be changed too. And that's how I can say that with so much confidence.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. Definitely something to kind of come away with. And again, we didn't even get time to go into the perfectionism aspect of things,
Oh,
which
yeah.
we may have to have another one on that because I think that just my own personal, you're gonna have to like step into counselor role here a little bit. You can kind of help me through some stuff, but
Of
no, I think
course.
we'll have to do that again. Janelle, this has been super fun. I have one more question before we get to my my three key questions that I ask everybody.
Sure, sure.
But this goes right in line with your last statement there. What is the legacy that you want your storytelling? We're going to call it an empire because you're just at the beginning at this point. What is the legacy that you want to leave behind?
The legacy I would like to leave behind is that when people read the books by people who worked with us,
Hmm.
they know that they're about to read a book that's going to have immense impact and value on their lives.
Yep. That can't ask for anything more than that. That's really,
Mhm.
really cool. And again, back to the game we played, right? What
Yes.
type of impact would you miss would your potential readers miss out on if you didn't write it? So I absolutely love that. So perfect. I'm sure you are well on your way with that, and we won't get into the all of this, but one of the first times you and I met, you played a different game with me, if you remembered, and it was like, okay, what is the, five things that you could potentially write a book on, right? And we kind of whittled that down, and oh my gosh, it was hard, but it was really, really good. So yeah,
Mhm.
y'all need to work with Janelle. She's phenomenal and just an awesome, awesome person. So appreciate it. Thank you so much. Let's hit you with three key questions here. So, Janelle, who is the leader that you most admire and try to emulate?
A leader that I chose most try to model and emulate. Right now, it'd have to be my current mentor, my
Okay.
coach. His
Okay.
name is Darren Walker, D-E-R, yeah,
Yeah, I'll try it again. D-E.
Derron, and then Walker spelled the typical way. Yeah, Darren Walker, the icon himself.
What is it about Darren that has impacted you so much?
Um, he has, okay, so his kind of tagline or his logo is the icon within.
Mm,
I deeply admire his ability to help people find the iconic value in themselves that allows them to move forward and step into the world with purpose. So that way they
mm,
can impact others, help
very
others.
cool.
Mhm.
Well, I'm sure you are a star student of his. I love it. Very good. All right. Question number two
Mhm.
is what learning? I don't think I've ever, on all 50 of my episodes thus far, I've never had somebody that's not a lifelong learner. I think we kind of um, just come together, right? We are drawn to each other. So what learning has most impacted you in the last year?
Oh man, so much. And when you gave me this question earlier, I probably had a different answer, but now I feel like the answer has changed. Okay, I'm gonna say something that is just it's not that deep. Maybe I don't know. Many of you may know the gentleman named Alex Hormozy.
Yep.
He helps other business people, other entrepreneurs, and he recently broke the Guinness World Record for selling. I think he sold like 4 to 6 million books or something like that
hmm
in like a 48-hour period or something. P.S. He is not doing it with a traditional publishing house. He's doing it all by
Interesting.
himself.
Okay, gotcha.
I got the book. I got the
Okay.
book
hmm
and I started reading it immediately. And I can honestly say that I stopped reading it only because I began implementing immediately some
Mm.
of the things that he was teaching in the book. And I don't want to do him a disservice either. So shout out to Alex Hormozy. For those of you who are wondering what book it is, it's called $100 million Money Models. It is bigger than my face. I just realized that. And it changed my life. It helped my business. So I will say that is like learning what they say the hustle sold separately.
I like that.
So you
That's
can
good.
read what's in the book, but if you don't implement it, if you don't actually apply it, then you might as well never have read the book, right? And so I actually feel very proud of myself because even though I didn't even finish reading the book, but I just applied the first couple of things that I read and it had an
hmm
impact. So I'm
I love
thankful.
it. I love it. Very good. I one of my favorite just people in general and just kind of what is the word? Inspirational speakers is oh my gosh, I can see him. Oh my goodness, Steve Harvey. My
Oh,
mind went completely blank. And he's got he like has his uh what am I gosh, I'm losing my brain. This is the part that we edit out because my brain just completely stopped. Steve Harvey at the end
uh-huh.
of his shows often just goes out and does like this one-on-one with the audience.
Yes, I do remember that.
Right, right. And they're all really, really, really good. One of the ones that kind of went viral was his whole thing about jump, right? You got to jump. You're standing at the edge of the cliff at this point. You've got all these ideas. You want to write a book, you want to start a business. If you don't jump, none of that makes any sense, right? So hustle sold separately. It's great that you have ideas, but if you don't jump and do something, right? Doing is what matters. Thinking about it does not get you anywhere. So I completely completely agree with that, and I love it. I'm going to steal that line. I think that's brilliant. Hustle sold separately.
Yes.
All right. Okay, Janelle, we have come to the end. Last question here. I'm very interested to hear your take on this because, again, let me just recap here, right? We've got just Ivy League graduate, professor, counselor, publisher, best-selling author, all of the stuff, right? So, knowing all of that, how would you empower learning for future generations?
I would love for us to go back to a Socratic method. I would love for us
Mm,
to go back to internship. I think people learn best by doing, not by just someone talking at them.
hmm
And I think if people did things and then you had a mentor, you had someone who could then, ask you questions like in the Socratic way, like, and what were you
hmm
thinking when you did that? And how did that go for you? And what would you like to do differently? And what are your thoughts about what, like, how did that feel when you did this? And, how can we change that? And had that kind of way, I think
Right.
that empowers a learner. I think that
hmm
empowers them to like live in what they're learning. So that way they can move forward. There's also a higher, more sturdy safety net in the failure
hmm
of it as well. I
mm
think the didactic way in which learning happens most often, and at least in our part of the world,
mm
if you get an answer wrong, it is so scary for somebody to raise their hand now because they're
hmm
so scared that if they raise their hand, they could get the question or the
Right.
answer wrong.
Sure.
They do it the wrong way. And people are so scared of that. And then it
Mm,
just teaches them to never do anything, to never take any
mm
risks, as
Right.
if failure is going to somehow kill you or getting the wrong answer is going to be like death.
Right.
Could you imagine death by wrong answer? So I think in this way of doing it with a mentor,
mm
like in some sort of internship model, it would
hmm
allow for failure to feel like a what it really is, which is just something that teaches us. It's a way in
hmm
which we learn. And it would be so much more powerful than this like fear way that we currently learn now. I feel like it would be immensely more powerful and helpful.
I agree. I completely agree. Wow. Good. Truth bombs from start to finish, my friend. That was wonderful. I had no doubt that it would be. So, thank you so much for your time and for your
Thank
wisdom
you.
and for your heart. And you're just the bomb. I love it. So much fun.
Thank you for having me on the show. I truly enjoyed this conversation. As you said, it was a lot of fun,
Super fun.
and I look forward to any future conversations.
Absolutely. We'll do it again, and I will drop all of her information so you guys can work with her. You will not be disappointed. She's a rock star. So very good. Thank you so much, Janelle. Take care. We'll see you guys next time.
That conversation with Janelle was equal parts eye-opening and heart-opening. If you've ever wondered whether your story matters, let this be your reminder. It absolutely does. Whether it's for healing, helping, or building your brand, your voice is a powerful tool. Be sure to connect with Janelle online, check out her books, and if you've been sitting on a story, reach out. Don't let fear keep you silent. And of course, subscribe to the Empowered Learning Podcast for more episodes that challenge, equip, and inspire.